belong with me, and I belong with you. You belong with me, and I belong with you.
Hi, and welcome to Bite number 2, Now Belonging Bite-Sized Transgender Awareness Series. I'm Sophie Wood.
And I'm Danielle Wood. And today we're going to explore the connections between being transgender and mental health. Now, I wanted to kick this off by stating, for the record, that I'll say that again, we all have mental health, just like we all have physical health. Now, in fact, there is no overall health without mental health. And just like we all sometimes have poor physical health, we all sometimes have poor or low mental health. Now, there are differences between poor mental health and mental ill health. So, Sophie, would you like to shed some more light on that for us?
Yes, of course. So, poor mental health or low mental health is a state that has a negative impact on the way we think, feel, and behave. So, it can cause distress or inability in social, work, or family settings and impact our daily living, including how we relate and interact to those around us. So, for example, you might experience a period of depression due to increased stress or life pressures. It's just like experiencing poor physical health, such as a back injury, where the severity of the symptoms and the longevity of the poor or low mental health varies from person to person. So, mental ill health is generally the degree and the length of time the difficulties experienced impact on a person's well-being and their daily life functioning. So mental ill health is when poor mental health has impacted a person to the point where it could be a diagnosable mental health condition. However, that doesn't mean there's always a diagnosis sought. So mental ill health generally has more of a significant detrimental impact on a person's life than periods of poor or low mental health, which may be situation specific or time limited. Now, just like living with a long-term medical condition such as diabetes, there is support and treatment available for mental ill health and the associated mental health conditions.
Thanks, Sophie. So I think there is a misconception out there that if you're transgender, that you're mentally ill. And I know that's what your mum thought, wasn't it, when she first heard?
Yes. Yeah. So when I came out, she said she'd never be able to accept me as anything as the beautiful baby boy that she'd given birth to, um, and told me that I needed to go and get psychiatric help.
Yeah, I remember. I mean, I know that was incredibly painful for you, as it was through medical support and talking therapies that you finally realized that you were transgender. So you were already on your path to becoming your true self at that point. Now, however, in fairness to her, it was, in fact, believed that gender dysphoria was a mental illness for a very long time. And it wasn't until I think it was 2019, wasn't it? Only 5 short years ago
Yeah.
that the World Health Organization declassified gender dysphoria as a mental illness.
Yes, and today we see a move away from using the phrase gender dysphoria for that very reason. So we've seen a movement towards more appropriate language, words such as gender incongruence or gender alignment, which don't contain the same kind of loading and baggage as gender dysphoria had with those links to mental ill health.
Okay. So, there'll be a lot of people listening who are thinking, well, we hear a lot about trans people being disproportionately affected by mental health difficulties. So let's talk about that. So according to a Stonewall report, 35% of trans people have self-harmed, you included, and 46% of trans people have considered taking their own life, and many have acted upon it. And again, you've done that. And we've established that there is now an acceptance that there is a biological underpinning to being trans, So why are those figures so high, Sophie?
Well, there can be a lot of fear in relation to coming out, fear about what that might mean in terms of how those around you will react, a fear of rejection, for example. Then once you come out, there's a lot to deal with, and it brings many challenges into your life. So I did experience rejection from my immediate family. Strangers stared at me in the street and became a target of cruel and hurtful comments on a daily basis. And I faced a societal narrative that dehumanizes and at worst demonizes trans people. And finally, mainly due to an unfortunate administration error, I was initially denied gender affirming treatment. And I got to a point where it all felt too overwhelming and I felt so low, I decided to try and do some DIY gender surgery on myself.
Yeah, and I'm grimacing. That was horrendous. And we both know that without the first responder who arrived on the scene before the ambulance, that you wouldn't actually be here today to talk to us about this.
Yeah, and I think it's important to highlight that my mental ill health at that time was not directly due to me being transgender. It was in relation to the way others were treating me and how they perceived me in terms of how they behaved towards me, which was characterized as being, very negative, and, very hurtful things, others would have said to me, and that was very difficult to cope with. Now, the accumulation of all of that negativity and rejection on a daily basis really does take its toll because you're completely immersed in it and there is no escape. So if you could take one thing away from this chat today, it would be that what you say and do really does matter. So please stop and think before you say or do something that could cause another person to feel like there's no other option than to end things.
Thanks, Sophie. Thanks for sharing that. I know that's a difficult one for you. Again, I'm going to suggest we wrap up at that point today. And next time, we'll be looking at another aspect of the transition beyond mental health. So between now and then, if you want to drop a comment in our post, you can do. Ask us a question. We're happy to answer things. And if you want to find out more about us or watch some of the other Belonging Bite-sized episodes, then please do check out our website, which is www.belongingbase.com. It's along the bottom of the screen. So until next time, it's goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from me. Goodbye.
Answer for, 'cause you belong with me, and I belong with